What's going on, guys? I know it's been a little bit. It's been about a month, and I do apologize. My new job is just sucking all the creative energy out of my body, and then by the time I rest and the energy comes back, it's time to go back to my job and just get again. So, sorry about that. But I put a thing on Patreon last week or 2 weeks ago asking my patrons what they want as rewards from my Patreon, because I feel like I'm not giving you guys enough, and you can sign up for my Patreon down below. But the homie Laura suggested more behind the scenes stuff in terms of how I make my videos, and I thought, why not do a behind the scenes of Empty Letter, my first horror short? So that's what I'm gonna do right now. So in terms of what I wrote Empty Letter about, honestly, it spawned completely from the last shot. The last shot where I shut the door and then the lights kick on. Please watch it if you haven't seen it already. But how things usually start is as a rough idea. Like I said, this one spawned completely from the last shot. And then I grabbed my big notebook, and this is actually my storyboard book. Pretty much every video I've made, I don't know, in probably the last 6 months starts in this notebook. So let's try to find the very beginning of this. Yep, here we go right here. Oh, no, that's the middle of it actually. Here we go. So if you follow along with this storyboard, you could actually just basically watch the entire movie. I don't really deviate too much from my storyboards. Usually it's how I see it in my head. I'm good enough to get it out onto paper, and then from there it's just a matter of lighting and then finding the right angle to shoot at. Now with mentioning lighting, Empty Letter, that was a big focus, was the light. And it's not super easy to get a bunch of light, especially when you don't have a bunch of money. There's professional lighting out there that you can get, and it'll make it look like there's a star exploding in your basement, but it'll also cost as much to buy an exploding star. But what I do have are a couple other things. First off, this Dasny, I don't know, this thing gets up to like 5200. It does cold and warm light. This thing's great. This is more of like a streaming light, but it did the job. And then the homie Hannah gave me some like photography set sort of thing, and it came with a green screen. And now when you use a green screen, you need to use a lot of light, because any shadow on the green screen is going to just kind of burn out the illusion. But I had to come up with an idea of a way to get all these lights to just sort of really explode out, and just, I couldn't figure out a way to kind of condense it all. And then I just went with the easiest and most practical way I could think of, which resulted in the creation of the Rat's Nest, which is these 4 things, like with these bulbs, literally just duct taped together. I just have the cord wrapped around it in an effort to keep this giant monstrosity a little bit contained. But yeah, holding this feels like a crime, or this feels like some sort of like cursed object, and I'm in a VHS movie right now. But this thing did its job. It was bright enough for the movie. Maybe not as bright as I had wanted it to, but for 4 light bulbs taped together, it did the job. Now, I was trying to think of a creative way to kind of explain more about the movie, but after going over that and like the lighting, and I mean, other than that, I use DaVinci to edit it, which is a free software. But what I thought would be fun is on the second half of this video, right after I'm done speaking, we're just gonna cut to a more reaction style type video, but it's just going to be me watching the short, and I'm just gonna stop every little bit and just kind of tell you how the sausage is made. I just wanna give you guys a heads up because the audio is gonna be changing, the picture quality is probably gonna be different, but it's still gonna be a good time. So let's get into that.
2 days later.
After watching this for a little bit, the first thing that stands out to me is I definitely need some sort of noise dampening in the basement. There's just this constant like that I cannot get rid of. You're gonna hear me complain a lot during this. I've watched this a few times. I haven't analyzed it like this. So the knocking, I actually ended up having to use my phone. I have an iPhone, but I have a PC, which is just a lovely relationship between the two. Not horrible at all. So getting those from the phone to there was tricky. I also like the way that I left not only the light directly over, well, in the shot, the left shoulder, just directly in the shot, but I also left the backup tripod in the shot, and you can see on the side. I don't know how well I hid the cursor, but if you look at the TV to my right, the light is there too. I thought that was a nice little touch. That was a fun one. But again, completely undone by the fact that now, if you see the TV behind me, there's now two lights. One of them is the big one from the last shot, and the other one, that little one, is the one I'm using to light this right now. Gotta do a better job of hiding those. Also, that book, when I was shooting this, I popped it open just as a prop, and then I was like, oh, this isn't bad. And then I actually started reading it, and no, it sucked. Continuity error. If you notice, my facial expression completely changes between shots. This shit's hard, all right? So, when I drew this up, obviously, you have a vision in your head, and sometimes it's just hard to get that vision out of your head. I wanted it to be a little darker in the stairwell of my hatch, but if it was any darker, my camera, which I shot all of this also on a GoPro. This is my camera. I don't have a DSLR anymore. But I shot this whole thing on a GoPro, and GoPros are great for their portability and their ease of use, but their batteries don't last long, and in low light, they are poo-poo ass pee-pee. But the problem is, all my lighting setups would have made it even more obvious than if you look through the crack in the door frame where the door is. You can see the light again. But I wanted this to be a little darker, but it would have completely just shit out the footage. If you've watched my videos, you know I love those midway shots where I pan like midway through closing a door. I always like those shots. There's the light again. Also, I think next time I need to hide my clock just so people don't know exactly how long it's taking me to do this. So I shot this looks like July 7th at 6:20 p.m. 6:21 p.m. It's probably also why I'm sweating wearing a beanie, because it's 81 degrees. Idiot. I love long, uncomfortable, slow, tension building shit. This, even though it's simple and it's done simply, is probably my second favorite shot in this short. Also, sorry to anybody who watched this wearing headphones. I didn't really quite realize how hilariously loud the bit is.
So the knocking was me and my kid just inside the hatch, and we were just pounding on the door. I did have to cut up the bits of us knocking because there were bits of where you could hear him laughing because he thought it was just fun to be like smashing on the door real hard. That other noise you hear peppered in there is this weird, it's like someone's like picking at a violin, and to me it's just like it's what having a panic attack sounds like. It's like this is what your head just, when it snaps, it just turns to that noise. I was glad I could find that because I was looking for a long time for just like a sound to add over it, because the banging didn't seem like enough. But I think those picky violins and like the stress of it, like I said, it feels, that's what having a panic attack sounds like. I have started writing, I'm going to say 2 more shorts, but it seems like they're kind of blending into one. I might be able to break it into 2. I think one of them is going to be like a real short. Okay, this shot is another one that I thought was just like cool, like the door cracked open with the light shining. I thought that was nifty. I'm trying to think of what I used in there to get that lighting, because I don't see any wires running from under the door. As I showed you, that rat's nest thing is great, but it's just a pile of fucking cables that I had to hide creatively with the camera, because there was no way I was hiding it practically other than just putting clothes on top of it. And it's like, okay, that's just, no, we're not doing that. What light did I use? It might have been this. No, I don't think it was this little guy. This guy, that's, no. Bad lighting change. I was not proud of that shot, but it was the best that I could do. So, you know, I guess use that as like, yo, well, this dude did it. Why can't I? It's like, you got to learn from your mistakes, yo. Again, another one of those mid-action cut shots. That's going to be a staple going forward. Also, if you look, you don't even really have to look real close. Right there was a jump cut. It was very subtle because I sat there way too long. I'll go back and run it back if you missed it. There. It's real subtle, but I sat there for so long because I just like lost track of what I was doing mentally, and I was just like, sit down. Fuck. Like I had to cut out like there was like 10 more seconds of that. It was so needless and weird, but I had to try my best to hide the jump cut, but it's still there. Slow zoom. Love it. I like that shot. Classic horror trope right there, the shaking doorknob. You know, don't fix what ain't broken. But my issue is it took me over a year to kind of naturally figure out how to use audio from another clip under the clip that I'm. This shot should not have taken over like an hour to put together. It should not have. Oh, okay. this part. Not, I like the act. I hate that you can kind of like see the wind up for me throw. Ah, damn it. I couldn't get that one any better either. Like every time I shot it, it looked like that. This I thought was a cool angle for a shot. That's the one another good thing about the GoPro is the size of it makes for really cool creative ways to use the camera instead of just on a tripod because the camera's $1,300. So I don't know if I want to totally spill the beans, but I'm gonna. Who cares? It's my movie. I had to run with the title of this because I straight up just forgot to write shit on that piece of paper. And then I ended up using that as part of the plot in this, where I'm the only one who saw what was there. I was clearly reading something, but there's nothing there. Sometimes creative freedom makes you feel like an absolute fucking idiot sometimes. Okay. I wanted that to be a little bit louder. I tried stacking it, and it got to the point where it wasn't usable anymore. It was so noticeably this massive jump in volume, and then if I tried to reel it in, it would kind of lose its effect, which was kind of a bummer. I got kind of what I wanted out of it. But yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of trouble finding the right sound. I'm still not even totally sold on this sound, but it made the cut. So I love the bam, bam. Okay. Blood tears. I notice the smudges and shit. I actually used a dropper from an old bottle of tincture. I will not be saying the company's name. Y'all stink now. But we used the dropper, and it wasn't running enough. So I sort of, on this side, I dropped a bunch of it, and then when I shook my head, it just like smeared and then ran a little bit, and I was like, shit. And then that one on the inside, I remember I put way too close to my eyeball, and they're like, yo, really try not to get this in your eyes. And then the other one on this side, I actually took the vial and I dipped it, and then I just sort of like lightly dragged the end of it across my face. That one seemed to work a little bit better, but I definitely need to play around with the blood. But just know that is practical fake blood. Again, no VFX shit here. It's because I don't know how to do them. That's my favorite shot. Like I said in the first part, that was the shot that started this entire thing. But I gotta say, not my best work in terms of, not being able to see the lighting, and my acting is not great, and my use of the blood is not great. But man, I think I put a pretty decent bow on this, whatever this is. Doesn't it have a breakdown coming up too? So there you have it. That was my little breakdown behind the scenes, show you how the sausage is made of Empty Letter. If you haven't seen Empty Letter yet, I will have it linked below. Please check it out. It's like 4 minutes. You got 4 minutes. If you like it, let me know. If you don't, let me know. If you're a person who makes horror and you're like, yo, he could probably do this better like this, please, please, please tell me. Please help me out because I'm just trying to get better at this. If you want to sign up for my Patreon, I will also have that linked below. I'm sorry to all the patrons. I know I keep like apologizing to you guys, but I'm just really trying to get back on track. This new job has genuinely sucked like the light out of my eyes. Like I think about the job and I get a tummy ache, but I'm getting back on track. We're getting through this. We're making videos again. So if you want to sign up for the Patreon, we've got a Discord. We're going to start doing some movie watch-alongs because now Patreon finally integrated live streaming into their platform, for the love of God. So I'm just going to be using OBS the exact same way that I'm using it now. And we just watch some weird horror movies or something silly. We're going to try to do those once a week. My schedule is getting a little more ironed out now. It may be a weird night of the week. Sorry. It's just how shit is right now. Or it'll be like Sunday nights or something. Maybe we'll do Sunday nights. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But sign up for that below. If you came this far, thank you very much again for watching. If you signed up for the Patreon and everything, thank you guys very much. I'm pretty sure that's everything. I hope this came out good because I've been recording this for a while. And if it hasn't, I'm gonna